But I wonder why it is that like in female sport, we don't think twice about having a male coach. And yet I feel like it's so incredibly rare to see, especially at the elite level, a female head coach in a men's sport. Is it because women are not cut out?
There's so many different factors, and like it's hard sometimes for like I think people to like actually have discussions about this because you can get so lost in like how many different things there are.
So there was a study done in Canada looking at national team programs. And what they found is that across genders, okay, so we're talking everybody, every national program, not just one or the other, that women made up 16% of head coaches and 18% of assistant coaches across 54 Canadian national teams. So that was 2021. So that's women's sport included.
Like very recent.
Oh, yeah. And then this one I found to be even more shocking, but it's interesting though. So this study looked at the percentage of male and female coaches in youth sport and then in the college system across all the provinces, okay? So in men's sport, and now football is one thing because it's like incredibly male dominated, but we're not talking just about male dominated sports here. We're talking like very, in all the balanced ones participation wise as well. In men's sport, 97% of head coaches are male, 3% are female. In women's sport, 74% of coaches are male and 26% are female. Now, what's interesting is there was a 2018 study that looked at the WNBA and NCAA women's basketball because they were like, okay, so we have these like vast differences in percentage of one versus the other in the coaching role. Is it because women are not cut out? So they looked over a span of time and compared the stats and the results of teams that were female-led versus male-led. So the head coach role, relatively the same over time. Essentially the exact same over time. So there is no, as far as I'm aware, evidence that shows that we are not capable of coaching. And I'm curious, like, do you have a guess as to why that is? Because I say this not to say that men shouldn't be coaches. Like I've had several incredible male coaches, but I wonder why it is that like in female sport, we don't think twice about having a male coach. I would never speak differently around a male coach. I would never act differently. Like it's totally normal to me. And yet I feel like it's so incredibly rare to see, especially at the elite level, a female head coach in a men's sport. And I'm wondering like, why do we normalize one and not the other, do you think?
You know, one thing that I actually just thought of that was really interesting is like I only had female coaches in basketball growing up. And I also only had like female dance teachers. So predominantly my like sporting life up until football was actually surrounded by female coaches. Which I'm sure in like some capacity, like subconsciously contributed to like me getting here. I think like there's so many different factors and like it's hard sometimes for like I think people to like actually have discussions about this because you can get so lost in like how many different things there are that contribute to it. I mean, I think if you just look at like statistics as a whole is like how many male coaches there are versus female coaches in like all spaces. There's obviously still a lot of like barriers that females have had to work through and are still working through. I mean, if you look at like females' roles in society, like they're generally the caretaker. They take care of kids. And that's like, and like that's shifting and changing a lot, but like everything takes time to shift and change. So it's like, even if all of a sudden it's like caring for kids is a 50-50 thing between males and females, it doesn't mean that like instantly all of a sudden like we're going to be 50-50 males and females for coaches. It like takes time for those things to roll through. So like I know that is like a big contributor to like females because it's like a lot of them like end up quitting sport. They don't have time because they're taking care of kids to like coach or anything at like a minor level. So like there's just a lot more limiting factors. And I'm actually like very interested to talk to Nadia, that's with the Red Blacks, because she is a kid.
Oh wow, interesting.
She's one. I don't know if she's more than one, but she has one for sure. So like that actually was something that like when she got hired I was really excited about because like not only like is it another female in the space, but it's a female with kids. So like to kind of be able to learn from that dynamic, and like, is there ways that like we can support females who have children? And like in the same capacity, it's like there's men who have kids that are like sole caretakers, or like maybe probably during the season would like to be more involved in their kids' lives, but like obviously there's just like limiting factors that like the job brings. So like there's like that, I think, is a big contributing factor. And like just like I've experienced it, like it's the self-doubt thing, and it's the like, if you can't see people in the position that you want to be in, you either never even think about it, or like you have to battle really hard with that like self-doubt and that belief that you can do it. So I think it's both like a societal problem, and then it's also just like a get out of your head problem, which is like obviously contributed to by societal things. But I think that's like, it's the social pieces and that like have contributed mostly to that. And like also, I mean, I've talked to female coaches that are like, yeah, no, I only want to coach female sports. I have no interest in coaching male sports, which like, cool. Like
I'm all for
great.
that.
I have coached all girls. I have coached all boys. I have coached co-ed teams, and like coaching males and females is inherently very different. And I also know a lot of male coaches who have coached females that are like, like, I like this. Like, okay. Like, this is more fun.
Oh, wow.
And like more enjoyable than like working with the boys. Like, and it's different. Like, it's just different. So it's like, and everyone like enjoys, you know, different angles and different like ways to work with people. So I think it's just like all over the place, a little bit. Like, I love working with girls a lot, but I also do love working with guys. Like, and the reality is too, is like, I want to be able to work at a high level. Unfortunately, right now, there is no opportunity for me to work at a high level with females in football.
Right.
So there's that.